If you don't have more time to spend, it's about time you got more efficient with it. You're listening to the Street Cred podcast, the show laser focused on helping fashion brand owners turn their side hustle to a full-time career. I'm Elijah Delport. Look, today we're talking about productivity, and I love this topic because I think it's a real strength of mine. I'm one that if I sit on any side of the spectrum of laziness, which is too far over one side, versus a workaholic, which is too far over the other side, I'm probably leaning more towards the workaholic, which means I do have some things that I have to work on in terms of how I rest. However, since the topic of this podcast is not rest and rather it's about working more efficiently, then I think I'm really going to have a good time speaking about this topic. And by the way, before we get into it, we are now, let me think, a week and a half into the dopamine cut challenge that I introduced just 10 days ago. So here's what we're doing. For 30 days, we're doing a challenge. No movies, no YouTube, no short form content on Instagram, no consuming really of any visual media, only creating. And the exclusion to this is you can go and watch a movie or something with a friend if you're invited to go out, if it's a social activity. But just consuming in private and of visual entertainment is banned. And so yes, I'm feeling really good, and I think it's in line with the topic of today's podcast of productivity because it has helped me be a lot more productive. Even someone who, well, for me, productivity is a strength. I don't really, I do suffer with procrastination. Everybody does, but not really as much as some others. So look, please join in with me and with all of the other brand owners who are participating in this challenge. But look, now we've got that out of the way. Why are we talking about productivity? Well, it's very simple. As a brand owner who's probably working aside a day job, it's just a side hustle. You wear many hats inside your brand and you've got limited time to work on it. Plus you have limited money to spend on hiring hands. So really, more time is not much of an option. More hands is not much of an option. So the only thing you can really do is be more effective with the time that you do have, with the little time you have. And so today, I hope that you're going to leave in about 7 minutes with something that you can do today that allows you to be more effective with your time than before. And I promise you, if you get to the end of this podcast, you will have gotten back more than the 10 minutes that it'll take you to listen to this. So look, I really hope you stick around. So I came across a study from Harvard, and they conducted an experiment of 100 productivity tools and methods and found that time boxing was the most useful across the board. And I've tried time boxing myself in the last 7 days and found it extremely effective. I've tried lots of productivity hacks, and it's been one of those things that I've always gone between, always experimenting with different things. This is by far being the best. Now, it might work for you, but you're only going to know if you try. So let me show you and teach you how to do time boxing if you've never heard of it, and I think it might help you. So, time boxing is built up of 3 steps. It's the brain dump, prioritize, and calendar. So first one, brain dump, is what you do in this step is you list out all of the tasks that you must do or you could do today without a filter. So don't edit things as they come to your mind. Simply brain dump as the name of the step suggests. And so you're writing out a list of things like, design, garment for new collection, create Instagram post, answer Instagram DMs, contact manufacturers, follow up on influencers, all of these types of things that you could possibly do, all the projects that you're working on, maybe something you want to start, but without filter. And make sure you get some things that are important on there that you should do, maybe some other things you don't really want to do, but you have to. And so this is the brain dump phase. And it's just write it on a list on a piece of paper, dot points on a notes app, whatever it is. It's not until step 2, prioritize, that we get to sorting it a bit. And so prioritize is, as the name suggests, where you list the tasks on your brain dump in order of priority. So what you're going to do is you're going to look back through your brain dump. You pick only the 3 most important and urgent activities, and you list them from first priority to third priority. So you're not going through all of the brain dump activities and listing all of them in priority, just 3, right? And again, the 2 factors, urgency and importance. Like, how soon is this due, and how big of, like, what are the consequences if you don't do it? How grave are the consequences if you don't do it? And so, for example, from the list I just gave you before from my brain dump, you could have number 1, the most important thing is contact manufacturers. You know, we've got to get that the numbers sorted for our next drop. And then number 2 might be create that Instagram post. You need to keep growing your audience on the side. And let's just say number 3 is answer some Instagram DMs from your previous drop, a bit of customer service. But you know, you've already done most of that, so that's just the third priority, right? So it's just finishing it off. So once you've listed all your priorities, you should now have your brain dump and your priority list. The third thing to do is calendar, right? The third step is calendar, and this is where you start time blocking. Now, you might have done time blocking as a productivity tool in and of itself. However, this is why time boxing is fantastic, because it combines probably combines to-do list with time blocking. So in this step, what you do is you first go to your priorities list that you did in your last step, and you go to your calendar, and starting with the highest priority task, you block out time in your calendar to do that. And so what you want to do is estimate how long it's going to take. So our first priority task was to contact manufacturers about your upcoming drop. So you might say that takes 30 minutes. And so what you're going to do is whenever you start work or whenever you start your streetwear side hustle, you're going to block out 30 minutes in your calendar to do that, right? Then the next thing is going to be, create an Instagram post, and then you're going to block out another 60 minutes after that. And then finally, you've got your customer service or you're answering Instagram DMs. And you're going to say that takes, just 15 minutes. You're going to block out another 15 minutes after that. Once you've blocked out the priority task, you go back through your brain dump and you fill out your calendar, all the space you have dedicated for your streetwear brand, with the other tasks that aren't as urgent nor as important. However, still things that you could be doing. And this is how you do time boxing. And one of the reasons I love it most is because of the priority tasks. It focuses on what is going to be the most impactful things you can do with your time for your streetwear brand. Because a lot of times, especially in my coaching program, I experience a lot of brand owners who are spending time on tasks that aren't actually achieving much at all. And they say, well, I have to do it. But why do you have to do it? Who told you have to do it if it's not actually going to be that impactful for your brand? And so we just make up these reasons why we have to do things, when really only 10% of our time is spent on the tasks that are going to be 90% impactful on our brand. And, we've got the 90% on just the filler tasks, checking emails or, whatever else it is. And so the prioritizing and time blocking allows you to focus on what areas are going to be most impactful, which means even with a very limited amount of time, you're most efficient, you're most effective, and you can scale a lot quicker than you could have otherwise. And I think when we're really intentional with our time, we are overall more productive. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do with your time is rest. And so look, maybe you're a person, you're like me, you find it easier to work than to rest. Maybe this is not an episode for you really, where you need to think, okay, how can I be better at work and more efficient? Maybe you have learned something, but maybe all you need to do is really actually have a break, is to turn it off, is to go and do something that's actually going to regenerate you, not just pretending like you're working by refreshing emails because your brain's not doing it. So anyway, look, this is a productivity hack. Again, the only way you're going to know if it works is if you try it, because it might not work for you. But how about you just try it? Try it for 7 days. Try it for 7 days. And hey, if it doesn't work, try something else. Just don't give up, because productivity is one of those things that it'll help you do more with in less time. So it's always it's almost always useful to learn some productivity hacks or even just spend some time putting in place a new productivity measure, because chances are, if it works, or rather when you find the one that works for you, you will have gained all of that time back plus some. And so I encourage you, just take some time. Like, I don't care what you were going to do today. Put in your time boxing, implement Elijah's productivity hack, or rather it's Harvard's, right? But, maybe you've heard of it before, but maybe I presented it to you for the first time. Anyway, well, thanks very much for listening to this episode. If this was helpful, you can trust that a lot of the other stuff that I put out to the world might be helpful to you as well. And so that's why I want to tell you about a free community that I've started. It has over 104 motivated brand owners in it now. And you can join for free as well using the link in the description of wherever you're consuming this podcast from. So again, absolutely free. I've even got a streetwear marketing course in there. It's 8 lessons. All of it's for free. I don't know how many times I have to say free, because I just need to tell you it's for free. Like, there's no catch to it. It's just value. So look, go ahead, join the community. I'll see you on the inside. Thanks for listening to this episode of Street Cred, and I will see you tomorrow for the last episode of the week. We are going live 7 a.m. weekdays, and tomorrow is a Friday. So look, happy end of the week. Thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.